This is the Speak Your Peace podcast, a platform for the people where we believe by speaking your truth, you can help others find their peace. This is your host, Kileem.slayton, and I want to thank you for listening in. Let's go! Maya, I appreciate you coming in the studio tonight. Again, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Maya. I'm from Nepal. Thank you for having me, Kileem. My mom always had the biggest crush on my dad. My dad used to tutor my mom. Mm-hmm. But back in the days, there was no such thing as love marriage, or you didn't get to pick who you want.
So there was no love marriage?
No, but technically my mom won because she did have a crush on him. Mm-hmm. But my dad always thought of her as a little sister.
So they were arranged?
So, yeah, my grandma and my dad's grandma decided, like, hey, let's arrange this marriage between them two. Mm-hmm. And they got married. Okay,
so in Nepali, arranged marriage is like a common thing.
It is a very common thing. People, like one of my cousins, her parents had decided who she's going to marry since she was little. Mm-hmm. That's just how it works in India, Nepal, and in a lot of Asian countries. We do have low divorce rates. Mm-hmm. But people also, I feel like, are secretly unhappy because they don't get to choose who they want to marry.
Do you believe in arranged marriages, Maya?
Hell no! I mean, don't get me wrong. It has worked for my parents. Like, you can see love between them, too. Like, they have date nights. My dad cooks for my mom on weekends. Like, now, that's something that you don't find a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of arranged marriage, they are literally, like, two people that decided, like, they were supposed to be married and they live a life. I don't see a lot of love in a lot of marriages. Mm-hmm. But my parents, that was a very unique situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't believe in it because I feel like as a person, as a human, you should have the right to choose your partner. You should have a right to choose who you want to spend your whole life with.
Mm-hmm. Now let's also, say that you were raised here in the States and not in Nepali. So it is, a little different than what you would have been taught being in Nepal your whole life. Have you seen situations where like arranged marriages didn't work?
Yes. So let's use my cousin for example. Okay. She, like I said, her parents had decided who she was going to marry ever since she was little. Mm-hmm. She got married to him. He turned out to be a drug addict, abused her. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have a kid due to some issues. She went back and told her parents, like, hey, like, this is what he's been doing. He's beating me. And my uncle's reaction was, you're not my problem anymore.
You're not my problem.
You're not my problem anymore.
So they feel like once you get married, we're giving you away.
So going back, let's like go back a little bit. So when girls are born, they're kind of looked like a burden in a way. Back in the days, not anymore so much, but back in the day, it was looked down as a burden, meaning if you're a girl, that means we have to give a dowry. Do you know what a dowry system is?
What's that?
That's basically when you get arranged marriage, you're supposed to give away a certain percentage of your land or a certain percentage of money to the groom's family. Okay. But when you have a son, you get that. So when you have a girl, that means you have to give away. So it's kind of like a burden. In all my family, when, like, my aunt, for example, when she had two girls, her parents-in-law literally beat her.
What?
Up. So, because she had two girls, and they wanted a son in the family to carry off the land and all that stuff. So, they finally had a son. Yeah, it's so true. It's looked down upon. In Chinese culture, so you know how Chinese population is growing and you're only allowed to have 2 kids, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a girl, they actually kill. Like in certain parts.
I heard something like that. I'm not sure like what the story was, but I think it was just like, you can't have a certain amount or something like that of girls or boys. I got to look into it again, but I did hear something along those lines.
And it's so true. And it happens in India. But it doesn't happen so much now. But let's go back into track regarding arranged marriage. Like I said, it looks like it's a burden to have a girl because you have to give, and it still happens. When you get married, you do have to give certain percentage, like gold or
What
land.
if you don't have it?
Then you get married to a low caste.
So it's economically too. So it's just like, if you're going to usually you're marrying somebody with as much as you or similar to you.
Yeah, so a lot of people a lot of couples break up because they're not in the same caste system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
It's like a whole lot of mess.
Mm-hmm.
Which shouldn't be, because it should be simple. Love is love.
Do your parents, do they have an arranged marriage? Like, are they planning an arranged marriage for you?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I feel like my dad has a folder for each men they have set me up. But so a while back they had introduced me to this guy, and I feel like it was for arranged marriage.
How did they set it up?
They invited him home. He cooked for my parents.
Oh, okay.
He cooked for my parents. And he asked me what I wanted for dinner. And I was
smooth.
Like, shit. Yeah, he did.
He
did. He knew the key to my heart.
Mm-hmm,
Food. So that was smooth. I give him that. The food was amazing. But like, I'm just not attracted to Nepali men. So
Mm-hmm.
So my dad recently went to Nepal again, and he asked me, "What kind of men do I like?" And that was like the most awkward conversation I've ever had with my dad. Like, how do you tell your dad what you like? And he's like, "Do you like doctors? Because I feel like doctor would be a nice fit for you. So when I go to Nepal, I'm gonna look for a doctor. Is that okay with you?"
Did you say doctor?
No, I didn't even say anything. He just said, "I think a doctor would be a good fit for you." That was his exact words. A nice doctor. Yeah.
Have they ever? So so the guy comes over and cooks for you. What is the conversation like? Like, is he like hitting on you? I don't talk to him.
I just eat the free food. No, I don't talk to him. He talks to my parents.
And like,
it's just awkward.
Yeah, it seems awkward. Like, what if they bring him in and you're just like, you already know from the jump. Like, yeah, I'm not attracted to this guy.
Like. And I think my parents got that vibe. That's why they never pursued it again with him. But apparently my dad and him got really close, so they have whiskey every Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So he's trying to get in the circle, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get cool with the pops and the mom, and maybe she'll come around.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen?
No. He texts me sometimes on Instagram. Like, he tries to slide into my DM.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to happen.
Oh my gosh. So, I'm not your dad, but what do you like? Which
2 simple words. Black men. So, I don't know how this. Well, actually, I do know.
So you do know. So when did you figure this out?
When I was 18.
Okay.
At a party.
Okay.
But besides that,
what happened?
My life changed forever.
Well, we want to hear about it.
Sofia Albina Rodriguez doesn't want to tell about it. But no. So we were at a party, and I've always been into actually Indian men and white men. I don't know why.
Okay, so you were always into Indian men and white men prior to.
I never looked at a black man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I never, And then, I was at a party.
Mm-hmm.
Things happened.
Mm-hmm.
And my life changed. And I was like, boom, black man it is.
So you know they said once you go black, you don't go back.
No, it is so 100% true.
And like, so so since then, of course, you've been dating black men.
Yes.
What's that been like? Is it different? Outside of the sex.
But that's important.
It's very important.
It's very important. But it is.
And and I'm sure do your parents have any idea like you've been with a black man?
No. They don't even know I've been on. They don't know anything.
What would they do if they like found out? Like,
my mom would literally fake a heart attack and would be like, "No, this is not happening." Yeah, she's a very dramatic, emotional blackmailer.
And your dad?
My dad, he would just, I don't know what he would. I feel like he would be more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he'd be like, "What? Just what?" Just would look at me like unbelievable.
And with your family, like, would they care? Would they be more supportive, less supportive?
So in my family, everyone's been married to a Nepali guy. So I'm definitely the black sheep of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And what's it like, feel like being a black sheep sometimes? Because it's like you're living this whole different life and your family doesn't know. It's just you can't share certain things with them or certain parts of you.
Definitely.
How was that like not being able to be yourself?
You know what? That's why I think one of the reasons I never moved back home, back to Maryland, was because when I'm in Maryland, I gotta be this version of Maya that they know. Mm-hmm. Like, they want to see. Dress a certain way. Wear certain things. Say certain things. I can't be me. Mm-hmm. Me is very colorful, vibrant. I wear a lot of jewelry. Mm-hmm. And I do a thing called what I want. And I'm able to do that in Charlotte. Like, I want to do whatever my heart desires, mm-hmm. whatever I want to wear, what I want to do at the moment.
And you feel like you can really be you, and you're accepted for that.
Yeah. Here I am. Back home, no.
Is there any plan to, tell them, or?
I feel like when I come home with a black baby, I think they will know.
Oh, so you're just gonna skip over? Hey, this is my black boyfriend, and like you're just gonna be like, hey, I'm pregnant.
No, we're gonna skip all through that. When I have a baby, I think they'll be a little more like
accepting because
there's a baby involved.
Yeah, true. I can get that.
Yeah,
I understand that. That's so interesting, just because of the fact of it's just like, what happens, once a baby, like, now you have a wedding and things like that. Like, I just imagine what that would be like. Because, I'm not married, but I like to think your family still interact. You still interact with other families,
Yeah.
And, like, what as a black man, what would that be like? Is it worse to date a black man than, like, a man of another race? Like, is that, like, looked down upon or something?
No, I don't think so. I just think the biggest thing for my family is my mom doesn't speak good English. Like, mm-hmm. She knows to get by. Okay. She doesn't know. So the biggest thing is for my mom to communicate with that person.
Gotcha.
And we have our own certain holidays. We have our own certain traditions, customs, mm-hmm. and it would definitely be harder for the other person to understand why we do this, mm-hmm. why do we do this, eat our food. So that's definitely something I think about too. Like, if I ever take them home, like if we ever go visit my parents, what are my parents gonna cook them? Curry? Like, will this person like curry? Mm-hmm. What are their spice levels? Will they like spicy food? So even at home, so it's actually Nepali culture to eat with our hands.
Okay.
So I think about that a lot, and I think about will this will this person get accustomed to our traditions? Things like that.
Well, I think like as long as, and again, I'm not married, but I like to think like if you're really in love with somebody, you love them, for who they are and what their traditions and stuff like that. And as long as it's not like forced on and pressed, it's not forced on someone, but they're just exposed to it. I think those are minuscule things in the grand scheme of things, like eating with your hands or what to eat and stuff like that, opposed to bigger things in life that you could be worrying about. And again, as long as it's not forced on them and they're just exposed to it, because it could be interesting, it could be a learning experience. Yeah, like when you come over and you get that soul food, that good mac and cheese, them collard greens, that cornbread, all that.
I do love some mac and cheese.
Some hot sauce. You need all this. Some lemon pepper wings. So again, it's not forced on you, but you're exposed to it. I think that could always be dope. A dope couple experience.
No, I definitely think when you find that one person, you will definitely like find your ways to compromise. And like I really think you'll find a way to deal with all those issues, because those are like, if you think about it in a bigger picture, those are really a small part issues. There's like bigger things that we might have to deal with.
To other women who are are potentially on the way to arranged marriage and maybe like on the fence about it, like what would you tell them? If they're like, I'm gonna do it because it's tradition, but a part of them doesn't want to. Like, what would you tell them?
Don't do it. Run, run. No, but honestly, do what. One of the biggest thing is.
Because I know you face disappointing your parents and like.
Yeah, one of the biggest thing is for us is definitely disappointing our parents, just because our parents constantly remind us what they have sacrificed for us. Like, going a little back, my dad came from poverty, like not American poverty, like third world poverty, where he only had one pair of shoes, barely had anything to eat, didn't even have the opportunity to go to school because his parents didn't want him to go to school. They wanted him to work on their farm. And he literally pulled us out of him. He was the first man to go to college in his whole village. So, that means I have a lot of respect for him, because I wouldn't be where I am right now without him. So, and there's a constant reminder of that. And I think anything I do, I have to think about, like, is this going to make my parents happy? Before I even think about if this is going to make me happy. This is what I used to deal with a lot. Like choosing college, choosing a career. I always thought about, will this make my parents happy? Before even thinking about myself, which is really sad. And I've actually outgrown that a lot, because now I'm like, no, this is like my time. I want to think about myself. I actually wanted to be a wedding planner.
Okay.
My parents put me down on that. Like, they literally had people come and talk to me to tell me not to do that.
Damn.
Yeah, because apparently, what are you going to do as a wedding planner? Like, it just looks so down upon.
It doesn't look lucrative to them?
Yeah.
Or like secure or
exactly, secure, not stable. That's not something like you want to be proud of.
That's probably hard for parents, and too, choosing between, you want your child to choose something that's secure financially, but also you want your child to be happy as well.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't. Again, I don't have kids, but I can't. I guess I get it. Of I want them to be financially secure, especially if you've experienced third world poverty.
I completely agree, but you can't also crush someone's dreams.
I agree.
And my parents know damn well what it feels like. My grandma literally ripped his books apart so he couldn't go to school. So he knows what someone's crushing their dreams, what that feels like. So I feel like he would be able to relate that more with me, but that's okay.
What would you say, in this whole, life that you've lived, what would you say was like your lowest moment?
My lowest lowest moment, like with my parents, or just in life?
Just, with arranged marriage and your parents and family and...
Honestly, when it was like the holidays and everyone was like, "Oh, I'm going home. I'm so excited to go see my..." And I was like, I don't want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at times I was just like, I don't want to go home.
Because you feel yourself when you're here.
Yeah. That means I got to take these rings off. I got to take this mask off.
Mm-hmm.
Or I got to actually put a mask on. And I just didn't want that because that was not me. And my parents battled with me a lot about, after college, moving back to D.C. to move in with them, or at least move close by them. And I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I live anywhere near you, I knew back in my head, like, I was never going to be happy because... honestly, I had a feeling they were going to send me boys so that way I can choose. And by the way, I'm next in line. So my cousin, who is 1 year older than me, she just got married. So
Ooh.
I am next in line.
Oh, so they like being... the clock is ticking.
It's my time. Yeah, time is ticking.
Mm.
Time is ticking.
Mm.
So they're in a rush right now.
And what's the best thing about knowing, that arranged marriages isn't for you? What's that feeling of that you get just being able to be yourself?
I kind of feel like a rebel.
Ooh.
And that's a good feeling.
You
Have you ever felt like a rebel?
This looks fun.
Yeah, you kind of feel like a little badass.
Hey.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like, in a way, a lot of my cousins are in Nepal, but few of them are settled in America or in London. So, in a way, it's kind of like, maybe I'll set, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll set, like...
You'll start something new, like a...
Yeah, I'll start something new, so that way they're not afraid to tell their parents what
so you
they
want,
like.
Yeah, like, so you're pretty much, you'll be like the first generation, but look, I'm not going to do this.
Exactly.
And they'll feel more confident to do it because they've seen you do it.
Exactly. And that's what I hope, like, all, like, cousins who are younger than me, I hope they feel like, whether it's a career choice or whether it's arranged marriage or whatever it is, seeing me, I hope they can be like, I can stand up to my parents too, because, she did it.
And be happy,
Doing what they want. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like my brother, my parents want my brother to study computer science, but he has a dream. Like, he wants to build his own gym, like the fitness center. He's really focused on that, and he's really good with money and business. And this is what he wants to do. But my parents are trying to get me to talk him out of that. Like, let him follow his dreams, and if he fails, he fails. Mm-hmm. That will be a mistake.
But it won't be no regret because he'll be happy because he'll be like,
exactly.
I did what I love.
Exactly.
But if I go to computer science, I'll be making a good living and be miserable.
Exactly. I'll be making money, but I'll be miserable. Exactly. You can't be 80 and be in your deathbed and have your ideas and innovations all looking down on you.
Or
it died with you.
Right. Well, you heard it first. You heard it here first. Again, to everybody out there who are living a life where arranged marriage is a thing. Straight from Maya's mouth to your ears. Trust yourself. Do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to stand up against past traditions. Because at the end of the night, you have to sleep with yourself. You have to live with yourself. And nothing is more important in this world than being fulfilled at whatever you do.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you want to say, Maya, before we let you go?
I think you kind of put it all together. Definitely, do what makes you happy. Because you don't want to be 80 and be on your deathbed. And then realize, you didn't go after something. You never want to have that feeling.
Be the black sheep. Be a badass. Be a rebel. Be like Maya.
Yes. Be the black sheep. Correct. Thank you.